Welcome back to Keeneland Racecourse as we get set for a 9-race program on this Thursday afternoon. On the set, Dave Weaver, Rich Perloff, and now joining us, Ellis, Starr, the national racing analyst for Equibase, going to help us out with some stats, race lens, angles. And by the way, I've been watching my first trip this meet, but every time you sit down here, it seems like you're giving out a winner.
It's great. I mean, I like doing it at Thursday night at home in my pajamas, but this is a lot more fun, and I've been lucky. I mean, just that the first one was a Graham Motion European starter, then Marzo, which was Mike Maker, second off the Klim, all stuff that you find handicapping, but the stats helped me found a lot quicker. And then last week, 2 horses in the Raven Run, including the one that paid $28.
So we're wasting no time. We're going to start right here in race number 1. You have found an angle that has been working.
Well, let's talk about angles, because that's what people sometimes don't understand when we talk about stats, race line, angles. Angles is a theory you've always had in your life, and you want to check it. And most are going to turn out badly, either a bad ROI, but in this case, actually before opening day, but talking before we started here with Rich, and you'll remember when Keeneland was poly,
right,
the horses coming from other poly tracks did very well. And I thought that was a dead angle. But opening day, I noticed the first horse on the first day was chipping in from Arlington. So I put an angle together really quickly, which is really simple. It is showing here, that's the great thing about angles, is it notifies you as the user when that angle comes up, and this is one I kept in because it was good. And this just shows the angle at this point, this was a couple days ago, has a 24% positive ROI and applies to 2 horses today, Renamo in the first and Kalu in the last. Now, what's great about this is this is updated every day. And so we're going to go to the other graphic we've got here.
So what's the angle? Horses that were racing on a synthetic track
correct
come to Keeneland.
Right, you'll see it right here. It's very simple to set it up. It's a filter track, Keeneland. That means the upcoming race at Keeneland, and on dirt today. I wasn't interested in turf for the purpose of what my analysis. And the last race was on all weather, and that was it. And this was as of a couple days ago, but over the last 5 years, this was a positive angle with 88 races, 100 starters, and not a great win percentage at 12%, but the ROI was 24%. And I don't have the, and you can sort, in this case we sorted by the wins, and this was as of a couple days ago, but it's even gotten better because yesterday Zipto won and paid $10, and Tringale lost by a neck at 15-1. This angle is now won with 9 of 29 starters at the meeting.
So who does it apply to today?
So it applies to Renamo, which was that alert that we saw there on the homepage. We can go to the third graphic. The alert on the homepage is also on the PPs. So looking at Renamo, right next to the name, there's that green angle match, and if you hover over it like we done on the homepage, it shows people that, so you can check it out. You can also see Renamo finish second at Arlington last time out. You can see the horse that won, Extra Medium. This is very interesting here. Extra Medium has the italics. He came back to win, and interestingly enough, you can drill down with Stats Race Lens as we did and look at that chart, which I've got right below that, and you can see Extra Medium won at Keeneland, and you can drill down further if you want to Extra Medium's lifetime PPs, and you can see he was 11-1, adding to that great ROI on this angle. So the other one's Kalu in the 9th, but this is no.
And it's interesting, Kalu, as I was putting together a late pick 4, I was kind of iffy about him. A scratch at a race number 6, I made room for him on the ticket. Now I'm glad I did.
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing here. Kalu ran very well on the Tapeta at Presque Isle, then ran 5th. And it fits the angle. They're just running so good. They're almost automatic bets.
Wow.
And that's what Stats Race Lens does, let you test the theory, and then you can get alerted to it. And I'm alerted to 2 horses today. Hopefully, one or both will run very well.
So the 1 in this upcoming first race, and then the 4 Kalu in race number 9. Now let's move forward because we have one more big race on the meet. We have on Saturday the Haggard Fayette Stakes that is going to be a grade 2 race. So remember, this is Saturday, but look at these names here. Tom Tatat has had an awesome year. He has really blossomed into a top handicap horse. We all remember Tenfold from his Triple Crown run. Peter Urton has been known to bring a horse in here and do very well in these stakes races. He's got core beliefs. You looking forward to this one?
Absolutely. Even though we're probably going to get some rain, I think the track will be taken very good care of, and they'll run to form in this race. And this is going to be about talking about Stats Race Lens and my handicapping, as well as some of the great things. And you can see for the users there, you can customize PPs in hundreds of ways. One of the customizations people always talk about is highlighting like we do on our tablets. In this case, you can highlight. And what I did was I highlighted only the races at 9 furlongs with one exception, Mr. Freeze's last race, because we're going to talk about pace. You can highlight in green, yellow, red. You can strike through. So as an example, with Stats Race Lens, with Mr. Freeze, you can line out the races which were irrelevant. One was on the turf, and the other was the race that led to his layoff, his really poor effort in the Pennsylvania Derby last year, which led to a layoff. I've ignored them, and this helps me to ignore them, and now I'm looking at the representative races of these 3 horses using these easy past performance customization features in Racelens. You'll also notice the speed figures, the echo-based figures for these horses are all very similar. Mosito Rojo, 115 last time out, Mr. Freeze, 115, and Tom's Deatada. We talked about 108, but that was in the Grade 1 Woodward, and then the 118 before that. So that's why these horses can be highlighted using Racelens so you get to the nut of the contenders in the race.
Visualization, always a good thing. Is there a way that Stats Racelens can help you visualize how the race is going to unfold?
That's a great question. So we've got the next graphic, which is the true odds page, which some people use, and some of the segments I talk about just the analysis itself for stats. But this one, we looked at the pace of the race. And this is interesting. You can do the early and the late. So in the early pace projection, just the first, in this case, since it's a sprint, you're going to get the first route, the first half mile. This shows the 2 Mr. Freeze in front, which kind of ties into his running line.
I don't want to be the 8. I'm 4 wide into the turn.
You probably are 4 wide in the turn. That's correct. And you can also see Tom's Deatada is going to probably have a great position right behind him on the rail. And Mosito Rojo looks here is projected to be about 7th, but we'll see about that. Then the second one is the pace analysis, late pace. This is a projection of late pace, and lo and behold, I did not make this happen. This is what the program did for me. Stats Raceland shows me Mosito Rowe is the top late pace runner in the race, so being so far back early is not a problem. Mr. Freeze, in spite of being an early runner, stretching out, has a great late pace number. Very strong. It's very, very strong. And Tom's Deatada is not that far off either. So it brings me back to these 3 horses, and my order is going to be based on the odds. Mosito Rojo, who I think is 6-1 morning line. Mr. Freeze is 7-2, and Tom's Deatada is 2-1. So I use him in my exactas and trifectas. But Stats Racelands validated those echo-based speed figures by telling me that it's going to run hopefully that way with Mr. Freeze in front, maybe being run down, maybe holding on, but those 3.
I love the idea of filtering, because now that I'm looking at Mr. Freeze and I can see his entire career in front of me here, he's going to be running around 2 turns for the first time in a long while if we give him a pass for that Pennsylvania Derby, which is the race that sent him to the sidelines, and his prior 2-turn form has been exceptionally good.
Absolutely correct, and that's one of the reasons I always, if a race led to a layoff, I cross that with my pen, but with Racelens, I can draw a line through it. I can't get rid of it, but it's there, and I can ignore it. Because if a horse goes on layoff, it's usually he needed a freshening, something happened, whatever it is. So looking at his form in context, you have the win, the second, and the turf race, which is irrelevant, as we said earlier, the Pennsylvania Derby, and then you've got the win in the West Virginia Derby, in which he did get an easy lead.
Well, Ellis, thanks so much for the insight, and let our viewers know you can always get the Stats Racelens past performances by going to the TVG.com handicapping store. Best of luck today, okay?
Thank you, guys.
All right.
My pleasure.
Ellis Starr. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be a little bit closer to post-parade time here for the opener at Keeneland. Stay tuned.